Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today is our class number 9, the most philosophical class, the philosophy of self-realization. Today we will review with you the following subtopics. We will see the 6 main darshanas, philosophies, from the ancient India. We will review with you the topics of Dharma and Sanatana Dharma. And we will see, according to the Bhagavad Gita, what is Karma Kanda, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Basically what I'm trying to do here in this class, I'm trying to show the path of the development of the philosophical thought and also the place and the mood of the devotees of Krishna, whom do we follow, where it all came into being, how it all developed. So please follow with me. First topic, the darshanas, the teachings of ancient India. Basically, there is the biggest classification into 2 groups, Astika and Nastika. Nastika are those schools that do not accept Vedas as a primal knowledge. They are Charvaka, Bauddha and Jaina. Also some scholars will point out Ajivika school and Ajnana school. Basically they are all materialist school and atheists. And we will proceed with you to the Astika schools. Astika, the darshanas that accept Vedas as a supreme pramana. Pramana is a proof. So they are 6 main darshanas, and we all know them, have heard: Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa and Vedanta. There are some more darshanas, some other schools in Astika darshanas. They are basically like 16 altogether, and 6 of them main. So they are also Ramanuja school, Madhvacharya school, Purna Prajna, Parmeniya school, Shaiva Siddhanta, Kashmir Shaivism, and etc. But what we're gonna do with you now, we're gonna follow the 6 main school right now and gonna describe with you briefly their philosophies. So first is Nyaya school or logic. The main scriptures are the Nyaya Sutras, and the founder is Akshapata Gautama. The most significant contribution to Indian philosophy, which was done by Nyaya school, is the development of theory of knowledge, of logic and methodology. Vaisheshika, it is atomic theory. It postulates that all objects in the physical universe are reducible to the atoms. And basically, one's experience is derived from the interplay of substances. Knowledge and liberation are achievable by complete understanding of the world of experience. So basically, Vaisheshika use 2 pramanas out of 6, the pratyaksha, direct perception, and anumana, or logical conclusion or inference. So basically, Nyaya is methodology, Vaisheshika is atomic theory, description of the substances based on the perception and inference. Next school is Sankhya, and we can say it is cosmology. Vaisheshika school, the founder is Kanada Kashyapa, and the main scripture is Vaisheshika Sutra. Sankhya Sankhya philosophy as a darshana was found by Kapila Muni, and it uses 3 out of 6 pramanas: pratyaksha, perception; anumana, logical conclusion; and shabda, the word testimony from the reliable sources. We know that shabda, especially in Vedanta as a Paurusheya, is one of the most pramanas. So, here Sankhya describes cosmology. It also describes all elements in the existence, in the material existence. It regards the universe as consisting of 2 realities: Purusha, consciousness, and Prakriti, matter. Jiva, a living being, is that state in which Purusha is bound to Prakriti in some form. Speaking about Sankhya Darshana, we have to mention the other Sankhya philosophy that was also established by another Kapila, Kapila Dev, and is described in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the basic difference between Sankhya Darshana, this one, and Sankhya philosophy of Kapila Dev in Srimad Bhagavatam, that Kapila Dev in Srimad Bhagavatam speaks about bhakti as the way to get out of the material universe. So he puts bhakti as the first and the most important goal of the living being. So next, the school number 4, yoga. And we know it was founded by Patanjali. And yoga school accepts Sankhya philosophy, psychology, and metaphysics. But the little bit difference here is that yoga put Ishvara and describes that the service to Ishvara is one of the main paths to liberation. Yoga school, same as the Sankhya school, relies on 3 pramanas: pratyaksha, anumana, and shabda. Next, Purva Mimamsa was found by Jaimini, and main scripture is Purva Mimamsa Sutras of Jaimini. Purva Mimamsa emphasize hermeneutic and exegesis. What is this? It is interpretation of the scriptures. And thus, Mimamsa gave a big impact on the study of philology and the philosophy of language. There are many schools, sub-schools in the Purva Mimamsa group, and basically all of them use 5 pramanas: pratyaksha, anumana, logical conclusion; upamana, comparison and analogy; arthapati, postulation, derivation from circumstances; and shabda. And one of the schools, Kumarila Bhatta, uses the 6th pramana is anupalabdhi, is non-perception or negative cognitive proof. And finally, Vedanta. There are also many sub-schools in Vedanta. Basically, Vedanta is soteriology or salvation doctrine. It is built upon the teachings of the Upanishads and Brahma Sutras. And depending on the 6 main schools, the philosophy of Vedanta will differ a little bit, simply because Upanishads could be interpreted in different ways. The following 6 sub-schools of Vedanta have developed. And we proceed with you into the discussion of the Vedanta school, Astika Darshana Vedanta school, 6 sub-schools. And we know them: Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita, Dvaita-Advaita, Shuddha-Advaita, and Achintya-Bheda-Bheda. So, Advaita, the most famous school found by Adi Shankara, and this school is based on the conclusion that Brahman is impersonal, empty oneness. And in other words, this school is called Manism, or pure non-dualism. Actually, non-dualism, pure non-dualism, gonna be Shuddha Advaita. And Advaita Vedantists assert that Atman is same as Brahman, and this Brahman is within each human being and all life. All living beings are spiritually and interconnected, and there is oneness in all of existence. So, basically, Manism, non-dualism. Next, Vishishta Advaita. Vishishta is some specification. It was found by Ramanujacharya in the 11th century. Advaita was found by Adi Shankaracharya in the 8th century. So, Vishishta Advaita in Ramanujacharya, he saw Vishnu as a personification of Brahman. And Vishishta Advaita advocates the concept of the Supreme Being with quality and attributes. That is the main difference between Vishishta Advaita and Advaita. They argued against the Advaitins' conception of Brahman as impersonal empty. They see Brahman as eternal oneness, but as a source of creation, and that one who possesses qualities. So, while the main conclusion of the Advaita school is Brahman Satyam Jagat Mithyam, in Vishishta Advaita there is individual's sense of self is not a complete illusion. This is a specific trait of Vishishta Advaita. Next school is Dvaita, and it is translated as a dualism. Was found in the 13th century by the Madhvacharya. And Dvaita Vedanta school believes that God, Vishnu, and individual soul, Jivatman, exist as independent realities and distinct. The distinguishing factor of Dvaita philosophy, as opposed to monistic Advaita Vedanta, is that God takes on a personal role and is seen as a real eternal entity that governs and controls the universe. And here, salvation in Dvaita school is achievable through the grace of God Vishnu. Dvaita school of the Madhvacharya gave rise to the Achintya Bheda-Bheda philosophy of the 15th century, which was founded by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Another school of Astika Darshana, sub-school of Vedanta school, is Dvaita Advaita, dualism, non-dualism, found by Nimbarka Acharya in the 13th century. And there are 3 categories of existence: Brahman, soul, and matter. Brahman exists independently, and soul and matter are dependent. So here we can see that the soul and matter have a separate existence, yet dependent. Here the highest object of worship is Krishna and his consort Radha, with all the gopis of Vrindavan. And here devotion consists in self-surrender. Next school is Shuddha-Advaita, purely non-dual philosophy found by Vallabhacharya in the 15th century. He taught that Brahman has created the world without connection with any external potency such as Maya. Vallabhacharya recognized Brahman as a whole and individual soul as a part. And he says that Brahman or Ishvara desired to become many, and he became the multitude of individual souls and the world. And finally, Achintya Bheda school, formed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the 15th century. And the roots of this school are derived from the Dvaita philosophy of Madhvacharya. Basically, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stated that the soul, or an energy of God, is both distinct and non-distinct from God. And Krishna Govinda is God himself. And he may be experienced through a process of loving devotional bhakti. He followed Madhvacharya, and we follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and 6 Goswamis Vrindavana. The 6 Goswamis Vrindavana were the students of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we are called with you Rupanugas because we follow those Goswamis, particularly Rupa Goswami. So here I tried to show you that out of all darshanas, where we are within the Astika group of darshanas. 6 main darshanas, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Purvamimamsa, Vedanta. And within the Vedanta, there are 6 main sub-schools, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Purvamimamsa, and Vedanta. Oh, sorry, those are the darshanas. And within the Vedanta, there are 6 main sub-schools, Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita, Dvaita, Shuddha-Advaita, and Achintya Bheda. And we are with you following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Achintya Bheda school, who himself follows Madhvacharya. This is Vedanta school of the Astika Darshanas. So, why so many religions? Krishna says, Kapila Dev says in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, a single object is appreciated differently by different senses, due to its having different qualities. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of God is one, but according to different scriptural injunctions, he appears to be different. So, different schools will describe God by different ways. But what we have to learn from this? So, Vedas. We are the sub-school of Vedanta, which is Astika Darshana. Astika Darshanas follow the Vedas, and they accept Vedas as a Apaurushaya. That means not created by man, and that it was given by God himself. We know 4 main Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Vedas. And each Veda will consist of Samhitas, Aranyakas, Brahmanas, Upanishads, and Upasanas. Besides the Vedas, there is a Vedic literature. Why? Because Vedas are very difficult to understand, and sometimes the meaning and the description of the whole universe may be put into one sutra. So for people in Kali Yuga it is difficult to comprehend. That's why Vedic literature based on the Vedas were created, and it helps us to understand the essence of Vedas. Vedic literature are Vedangas, Parishishta, Upavedas, and fifth Vedas. Vedangas, the sciences that focused on helping understand and interpret the Vedas. And Vedangas itself consists of 6 divisions: phonetics, poetic, grammar, etymology, rituals, and astronomy. Parishishta dealing mainly with details of rituals. Upavedas, or applied knowledge, such as archery, architecture, music, dance, medicine. And finally, fifth Vedas, which became well known among the people. They are Puranas, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, and those, here we are. Krishna says that even so many scriptures there, but because we follow Vedic scriptures and we follow Vedas, we are within Astika Darshanas. But Krishna tells us what are the Vedas and what should be known by Vedas. He says, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nishtraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvanitya Sattvastho Niryogakshema Atmavan. He says that Vedas mainly deal with the 3 modes of material nature, the Traigunya Vishaya Veda. And he advised Arjuna, Nishtraigunya Bhava, become Gunatita. Get out of those 3 gunas. Be transcendental to all of them. Be free from all dualities, Nirdvandva, from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. And he also says what is the main purpose of Vedas. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha vidaischa sarvairaham eva vidyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. He says that I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, Vidaicha Sarvai, Aham Eva Vidyo, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, Vedanta Krit, and I am the knower of Vedas, Vedavid, Aham. So, this is a direct instruction from Krishna that whatever we learn, whatever knowledge we receive from Vedas, from Vedic scriptures, from Puranas, it should be applied to realize Krishna. What next should be taught here? The Sampradaya. The Sampradayas are the spiritual lineage or a religious system, and it relates to the succession of masters and disciples, and it serves a spiritual channel. There is a Vaishnava Sampradaya described in this slide. We also have different other Sampradayas, Shaiva, Shakti, Buddha, etc. But let us see our spot in this line. So there are 4 main Vaishnava Sampradayas: Shri Devi, Brahma, Rudra, and 4 Kumaras. And we are with you here in the Brahma Sampradaya. Our previous acharyas are Madhava Acharya, and we are with you within the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And here is given the Brahma line of the Brahma Sampradaya. Here you can see it starts from Krishna. Krishna gave knowledge to Brahma, and we know it from the Brahma Samhita. Brahma gave knowledge to Narada Muni, his son, and Narada Muni explained it to Vyasadeva. And later on we can see this line to Madhavacharya, etc., etc. And here we can see number 20, Madhavendra Puri and Ishvara Puri. They are the teachers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who established the Sankirtana movement. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the 6 Goswamis Vrindavana described, and one by one, where we go, we come to Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So here, in this picture, in this slide, you can see Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya. And this is our place within the philosophy. That's what I wanted to describe you in the beginning, who we are and where we come from. And of course Prabhupada. His Divine Grace Abhay-Charan Aravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada was born in Calcutta in 1896. At the age of 26 he met his guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. 10 years later he got initiated. At the age of 63 he received sannyasa. That time he lived in Vrindavana, and he started the biggest work of his life, the translation and commentary to the Srimad Bhagavata Purana. After he has translated 3 cantos, he collected some books and departed for New York. By cargo ship, he arrived to New York at the age of 69 in 1965. He bore a lot of difficulties, but in 1 year he was able to establish officially the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. In the next 10 years, he traveled all around the world. He preached. He wrote and translated a lot of books and scriptures. He opened over than 100 temples. It is by his grace only that we are all here now with you. And Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is the disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who was able to make true the words of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that Krishna's names, once upon a time, will be chanted all around the world. And thankful to Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the prediction of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes true. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Here you can see his short biography. And we will shift with you to the next topic. So, I just want to remind you that we discuss the philosophy of self-realization. We discussed with you the Astika and Nastika Darshanas. We followed the Astika Darshanas, that are 6 main darshanas, and one of them, Vedanta Darshanas. Vedanta Darshana has 6 sub-schools, and particularly Achintya Bheda Bheda school was found by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and 6 Goswamis Vrindavana, and we follow Vaishnava Sampradaya Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, which takes the Brahma line. And Prabhupada himself and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are all following Gaudiya Sampradaya that belongs to Brahma line. We are following Vedanta sub-school of Astika Darshana, and we accept Vedas as the supreme scriptures. So, next topic, Dharma. So, Dharma, what is this? In Mahabharata, it is said, Dharana dharmam iti aho dharmaha dharayati prajaha, that which supports, that which holds together people. That is Dharma. Dharma, in the very vast explanation, could be also said as a Rita. Rita is a cosmic order. Dharma within the material universe is an important concept to hold this material universe. So basically in Kali Yuga it is not much dharmic activities left, but still we have all the demigods who perform dharma activities, and thus the cosmic order is supported. Pertaining to us, we can speak about Swadharma in two ways, the Varna Dharma and Ashrama Dharma. Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita that Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam, that one who wants to achieve the desirable goals should follow the Varna and Ashrama Dharma. In other words, it is also said that Vastu Svabhava iti Dharmaha. Dharma is the nature of things. As Radhanath Swami says, Dharma is a thing's inherent quality, such as the heat on the fire or the sweetness in the sugar. So, it is our very prescribed duty to find out what is our nature and serve by this nature to Krishna. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that it is better to perform your dharma, not someone else, or not flicker from your path. Perform your dharma, thus you will be elevated gradually to the path of bhakti and to liberation. We know that Vedas deal mainly with three gunas, and in the Vedas it is described the path which we can follow, and we can follow properly, not ruining any rules of this Rita cosmic order, and at the same time we can receive the sense gratification, achieve some aims, and get some pleasure. So basically there are three khandas in the Vedas, and it is called Trividya: Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, and Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda, how we can adjust material happiness or material living very nicely. So by performing some sacrifices, pious activities, and good karma, next life we can get a good birth, money, education, beautiful body, etc., etc., even on the higher planets. Jnana Kanda, the philosophical knowledge, which is given in order to search for the absolute truth. And Upasana Kanda, the rites how to worship particular demigods or lord are described in Vedas. However, there are some objections to this Trividya. Why? Because if we want really develop loving relationship with God, one should abandon karma kanda and jnana kanda and follow upasana kanda. And not all upasana kanda, but that upasana kanda, that worshipping, which has the aim as a loving relationship with Krishna. So what does it mean to follow prescribed duties? Dharma was described as a cosmic rita, the cosmic order, and also as a moral and ethical rules which are described in Karma Kanda of Vedas. So those rules pertain to moral and ethical rules of Varna and Ashramas. There are 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas. 4 Varnas are Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. And according to one's qualities and character predisposition, we belong to any of these 4 Varnas. And 4 Ashramas are Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. The Ashramas which one should accept during his life development and consciousness development. So, what are those moral and ethical rules? We will not describe exactly Varnas and Ashramas here, but what I want to say here, there is an interesting description of the word human you can find in internet. First of all, the English word man is derived from Sanskrit root manu. And what does it mean to be a human or man? Interesting fact about you we can find in Sufism. Hu or Hua means he is a name for God in Sufism. And it is also, we can draw a parallel to the phrase La ilaha illallah, there is no God but He. When we can call be a human? Only when we carry a God within our own selves and see God in every living entity. So, this is the concept of Paramatma and the concept of non-dual vision, that all people are parts and all beings are parts and particles of Krishna. By having this vision, we will naturally follow duties and dharma, because if we see everyone as a part of Krishna, we cannot hurt anyone, and we will try to help them, and we will try to be the most kind what we can do. We will try to be most kind and most loveful, because we will see everything in connection to God. Those the moral and ethical rules will be performed automatically if we will develop this vision that Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. This I tried to describe the dharma by how to perform the Varna and Ashrama dharma naturally by seeing Paramatma in everyone's heart. Speaking about duties and dharma, it is necessary to speak about yajna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Jnana Tapa Yajna, Dana Tapa Yajna should never be abandoned, because sacrifice, charity and penance purify even the great souls. In other chapter he says Yajnartha Karma, work should be done as yajna. The other name of Krishna is Yagyeshvara, that one who enjoys all the yajnas. So, Why do we have to work as yagya? Why do we have to offer everything to Krishna? First of all, as a part of Karma Kanda, we can find the description in Srimad Bhagavatam in like 9 shlokas, the description about different types of worshipping to different demigods is given in the chapter 3 of the second canto Srimad Bhagavatam. If you want, you can open the shlokas from 2nd to 11th and read which way to which demigod you can worship and which results you will achieve. That is given. It is not a secret. And also Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, there are few types of yagyas: dravya, tapa, yoga, svadhyaya. Dravya is when you give away your material possessions, and those they become enlightened, while the others become enlightened by performing the silver austerities. Other people by practicing the yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and the others by studying the Vedas and have advancement in the transcendental knowledge. And also in the chapter 4, shloka 33, he says, Jnana yagya is the best. It means the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possession. So, to learn and to give knowledge is the best yagya what we can do. The descriptions of yagyas in terms of Karmakanda we find in Bhagavad Gita in the first chapters, where Krishna elaborately describes what we're gonna achieve by following prescribed duties. He says that those who follow Swadharma, they do not achieve sinful reactions. And actually, if you remember in the lecture of life purpose and mission, we spoke with you that one have to find out his inherent nature, his talents, his predilections, and offer it everything to Krishna. In the beginning of this way, that's why we are doing with you this course, because we hope to find out who we are, find out our talents, and what we can dedicate to Krishna. First of all, because he says that by dedicating me your duties, your talents, you are not achieving sinful reactions. But even more, he is saying that it is me who has given you this set of talents, set of abilities, and thus you have to find out them. You have to worship me by your talents. Just be my instrument and use your talents. So this is simply a shift in the consciousness, and we will see in Bhagavad Gita later when he describes this shift from Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga, that some people in this life, they are very some of people in this life are quite unlucky because they do not know who they are, they do not know what to do in this life, and they are really unhappy in whatever work they perform. But there are some other people who really who found their profession, who found the things what they like to do in their life, and they follow this path. So simply by following your dharma according to varnas and ashrama is already a service. But in the state of consciousness, when we do not realize that we are doing it for Krishna, we are doing it simply to enjoy ourselves. And Krishna will speak about shifting to Karma Yoga, when we will realize, oh, this is Krishna who gave us all this. And with a pleasure we will dedicate him everything. And thus, Sanatana Dharma. What is Sanatana Dharma? Sanatana means eternal. And actually, Sanatana, eternal, means something what is transcendental to the material nature. Before we described with you Dharma as a social order and cosmic order, and Sanatana Dharma as is a transcendental activity, which will bring us to the purification and to the realization of our spiritual Svabhava. And speaking about Sanatana Dharma, we have to mention the Dharma for each yuga, a particular activity which will develop our consciousness, which will purify our consciousness in the way that we can achieve self-realization and achieve God realization. And we know that the prescribed duties for each yuga are different. In Satya Yuga it was meditation. In Treta Yuga it was sacrifices. And in Dvapara Yuga it was temple worshipping, deity worshipping. And in Kali Yuga, finally, when the Dharma is very, the level of amount of dharmic activities is very low, the Sankirtana Yagya as a Yuga Dharma is prescribed for Kali Yuga. We have seen in a class about Tapa, in the class number 7, the power of discipline, about different Yuga Dharmas, and there were slides with a description from many different scriptures where the Sankirtana Yagya is mentioned as a Yuga Dharma. In different Puranas, Samhitas, Vedas, we have seen those descriptions. Here I would like just to read from Ananta Samhita. It is said that this Mahamantra in the age of Kali is that one by which all living beings can be delivered. One should never abandon chanting this Mahamantra. And this was also an instruction from Prabhupada. One should chant and remember Krishna 24/7. So this was a topic about Dharma, Dharma described in Kandas, Yagyas, and Sanatana Dharma. And now we will move further, and I would like to represent you the Bhagavad Gita as it is, with the purports of Srila Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, the founder of Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So, Bhagavad Gita, what is it about? Mainly, there are 3 main topics: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. And basically, there are 3 divisions which could be done within these 18 chapters. We can divide it in 3. And in each part, we will see description of Karma, Bhakti, and Jnana. So let us proceed to the first step. We spoke with you about Karma Kanda, and it is a part of Trividya. So Vedas mainly deal with Karma Kandas, Upasana Kandas, and Jnana Kandas. What does it mean? Karma Kanda are the activities which are prescribed by Vedas. So we follow the rules and regulations. Krishna himself tells us that by following rules and regulations and prescribed duties, performing prescribed duties, we will achieve desirable goals. This is simply Karma Kanda. We build our life within the frames of the rules and regulations prescribed by Vedas, and we will achieve two aims. First, we will have desirable goals, the pleasures, and whatever we like to have. And second, we will be gradually elevated by performing our duties according to the rules. We will be elevated in our consciousness to the pure state of consciousness. And thus, from the Sakama, we will shift to Nishkama Karma Yoga. What does it mean? We will start to follow the duties, not for own desires, not to achieve own desires, but by trying to serve the society and Krishna. So, when the consciousness, our consciousness becomes purified, we get rid of this sakama, of these selfish desires. And when we separate ourselves by constant practice of the spiritual exercises, of the chanting the holy names, we will be able to separate ourselves from our minds. And we will see that we are spiritual beings that are temporarily enclosed into the material bodies. When we shift to that consciousness, we will see that striving for the material pleasures is not really a highest goal of life. So, we will shift to Nishkama Karma Yoga. We will try to perform activities for Krishna, dedicate him results, activities itself, our activities, our thoughts, our speech, and whatever we do as Krishna wanted from us. And from Karma Yoga, there is a shift to Buddhi Yoga. Basically, what does it mean? When we will be able to separate ourselves from our bodies, from our minds, the faculty of Buddhi will be empowered. And it is all done by the spiritual practice, by chanting the holy names, by following the four principles. When the faculty of Buddhi will be empowered, we will be able to see and discriminate what is useful for the spiritual development and what should be abandoned. Our mind will be fixed in the service of Lord, and we will be able to progress on the spiritual path. So this consciousness even more elevated than that of Karma Kanda and Karma Yoga. However, Buddhi Yoga is sometimes translated as could be compared to Bhakti Yoga. Sometimes it is translated as a Bhakti Yoga. Sometimes Karma Yoga it could be translated as a Bhakti Yoga in sense if we use it with the right consciousness. But still, if we precisely speaks about concepts, Bhakti Yoga is the only one yoga which is absolute pure state of love. However, Krishna, all over Bhagavad Gita, also in Srimad Bhagavatam, he speaks about different paths by which one can go forward in his spiritual self-realization and gradually achieve Krishna. Here, for example, he says Dhyanena, Sankhya, Karma Yogena. So some perceive the super soul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and others through the fruitive desires in performing the activities. Here also he says, as we mentioned before, that one should not abandon his activities. He says in this shloka that karma sannyasat karma yoga vishishyate. What does it mean? That one should never abandon his duties. One should never renounce if the time is not appropriate. Actually, in Kali Yuga, the sannyasa is not recommended. so one should never abandon any activities, but perform those activities as a yagya to me. Also he says that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service. So we see that Krishna describes all the paths here. Even so, there are some particular difference in each path. For example, about Bhakti path, it is stated that, first of all, it is prescribed. The path of Bhakti is prescribed, and the main difference from the other paths that if we perform Bhakti activities, Krishna himself takes care about his devotees. In Srimad Bhagavatam, here we can see Kapila Dev, what he says: philosophical research culminates in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After achieving this understanding, when one becomes free from the material modes of nature, he attains the stage of devotional service. This is what is in Bhagavad Gita called Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Either by devotional service, directly, or by philosophical research, one has to find the same destination. One has to find the same destination, which is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, basically, we should work on our consciousness. We should realize who is Krishna, what is his personality, what he likes, what qualities he possesses. Thus, by adjusting our consciousness, by purifying our consciousness, we will be able to achieve him by any path. Once again, still Bhakti Yoga is prized by many scholars and by Krishna himself. Especially his main conclusion in the 18th chapter, when he says that Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati Tattvataha. What does it mean? That one can know me by loving service only. We know that there are few different aspects of Supreme Lord, as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And Krishna, as a wonderful, sweet Lord in Goloka Vrindavana, that Lord, which was described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and 6 Goswamis Vrindavana, is that the Swayam Rupa, the very real, that one, the Supreme Krishna in Goloka Vrindavana. Why do we worship exactly him? Because the 5 rasa, what he has in his collection, right, the Madhurya, the Vatsalya, Sakya, Dasya, and Shanti, they are the most full and the most rich, opened, and fulfilled in his Goloka Vrindavana, because he is surrounded by people who loves him a lot, and thus he can open up himself. It is like us when we come to some company where everyone loves us and we love everyone. We will be naturally show our the best qualities, and we will be immersed into the ocean of love. Thus, that one Krishna, who is Krishna Vasudeva, who is Damodara, he is speaking to us, that Bhakti Mama Bijanati. So that particular aspect of Krishna, what is the sweetest one, could be achieved by Bhakti only. And what is the most important thing to know? That Bhakti is a path and the purpose. And also, without mercy, it could not be achieved. Mercy from both sides, from Krishna and from the devotees around, especially from Guru. It is said that we can find Krishna by the mercy of Guru, and we can find Guru by the mercy of Krishna. So we are captured in this mercy. And from our side, what is the most important thing to do is the efforts. So here in Bhakti Yoga, two things are important. Efforts, our efforts, and mercy of devotees, Guru, and Krishna. And thus, Krishna will personally pulls his devotee up from the ocean of material existence. Here one more proof, it is needed, if it is needed. There is a scripture, Narayaniyam, is a summary of Bhagavad Purana, written by Narayana Bhattatri in the 16th century. And he declares here that the path of bhakti is the easiest one, that a human being can effortlessly attain you by bhakti, he says. He says that path of karma yoga and jnana will take a lot of time to get results. And we really do not have time in Kali Yuga right now with you. So bhakti yoga is the most beneficial, the fastest, and the most sweet way to achieve Krishna. So here we are describing with you Bhagavad Gita and different paths which is described in Bhagavad Gita. So a logical question could arise in one's mind. If the path of bhakti is the only path to achieve Krishna, why he is describing all the other paths? Actually, the whole Bhagavad Gita is a description of different ways, darshanas. Actually, different darshanas can adjust Bhagavad Gita to their philosophy. And also Krishna gives different shlokas where he says, and by jnana and by karma, one can achieve me by dhyana, by yoga. But finally, he concludes in 18th chapter, Bhakti Mama Bhijanati. So what does he want to say us? And what does it mean? Simply saying, Bhagavad Gita is for everyone. Depends on our own consciousness, on our own likings, and on our own inherent natures. Krishna gives to each and everyone a specific path, what we can choose, according to the level where we are with you. Someone may like more karma, or he is still looking for some sense enjoyment. The other people will like philosophy path, jnana path, meditation, ashtanga yoga. And some other people will like paths of chanting, bhakti, serving, and developing love. So Krishna simply tells us that whatever stage you are now, just start from there and follow. And do just one thing, manmana. Think of me constantly, he says, and thus I will pull you to me. That is his mercy, and he is promising that his devotees will never be abandoned by him. Thus, in Bhagavad Gita you can find descriptions of different ways and also step-by-step description how to become elevated and develop this love of God. And exactly, I would like to describe these paths as Krishna described in 18th chapter, the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. He gave all these levels, all these steps in few shlokas. Here we are. So, chapter 18, shlokas 49 to 66. From Karma Yoga to Bhakti. How do we follow? First of all, he describes Karma Yoga, worshipping through your duties. You can see the shlokas here. Next, he says, get some knowledge and try to renounce the results of your activities. By following the Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, and by being established in the knowledge, one achieve Brahma Bhuta stage. So here these 3 steps, easy to say, but not easy to follow or understand. Once again, starting from the beginning, we simply follow our dharma duties. When we become a little bit more elevated, we shift to Karma Yoga, which has mood of Nishkama. We simply try to become selfless and dedicate the results of actions to Krishna. At the same time, we deepen and deepen and deepen our knowledge about Krishna. We try to perform spiritual activities and service. These steps may take a lot of time. It includes chanting, serving, and also those 9 types of devotional service, which is started with Shravanam and Kirtanam. Basically, performing the duties of Yuga Dharma, chanting, and deepen our knowledge about Krishna, about our relationships, and also Krishna advised Abhyasa and Vairagya, right? So by practice spiritual activities, with the time we will be able to separate ourselves a little bit from the material body and material mind. When we will become very, very advanced on this path, we will achieve Brahma Bhuta stage. Brahma Bhuta stage is when we will see that we are qualitatively the same with Krishna, and we will perceive Krishna as a Paramatma in all beings. And we will lose this sense of duality and the sense of that our mind will not get anxious about the dualities of this material world, about happiness and distress, about honor and dishonor. So this is very high stage. It means on the Brahma Bhuta stage, we are separated from our mind and body. We do not self-identify ourselves with the body and mind. And Krishna says, hey friend, this is the beginning. Now what you can do? Being by this Brahma Bhuta state, you can attain Bhakti. Actually, Bhakti is a process by which we do Karma Yoga, by which we do Jnana Yoga or Svadhyaya, by which we attain Brahma Bhuta stage. Bhakti is a way by which we offer every activity to Krishna, by which we serve the devotees. And gradually we become elevated. Why gradually? Because we are really contaminated by the material way of life and material consciousness. But Krishna says, and Prabhupada told us, that Bhakti itself can transform and give liberation in 1 minute, if we realize what is it all. But unfortunately we are too fallen, and we have changed many different bodies, and we have these samskaras about enjoyments, so it takes long for us, but still we are on the right way. So, by being situated in Brahma Bhuta state, so being able to see Paramatma within everyone, and by developing this consciousness, and as a Maharaja Bharata in the 5th canto, he did not He separated himself from the material body, from the mind. So, by being situated in this pure state, we can perform pure bhakti. And this we will develop the love of God. And only here we will realize what is real taste of God, of holy names, what is real attachment to God, what is finally Sharanagati. So before this level, we do not know what is to dedicate oneself, one's activity to God. We just try to perform it. However, it is possible. By holy name, by serving, it is possible. And Krishna gives this step by step. And he advises, whatever level you are, start from there. So, here, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, the most popular shloka, Sarvadharman Parityaja, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So, on this stage, a pure devotee may abandon any other dharmas or prescribed duties, but this is very elevated state. We are hardly, a lot of us, mainly on the first stage, if we are lucky. If not, we are still, some of us may be on the Karma Kanda, but many of people in Kali Yuga, they are even not on the Karma Kanda stage, because they perform vikarma, negative activities. They perform adharma. So they are absolutely out of this ladder of bhakti. The aim is Krishna. The aim is Sharanagati to Krishna. So this is knowledge given in Bhagavad Gita. One can review once again this ladder of bhakti, realize on which step we are. Basically, we are trying to perform at least karma yoga, at least nishkama karma yoga. We try to deepen our knowledge. So, let's put more efforts, let's chant, let's perform duties for Krishna, let's try to deepen our love and purify the consciousness. And now I would like to speak a little bit more about bhakti. So, bhakti, what does it mean? How to perform that bhakti? Where we can read about this bhakti? Who can explain us? What are those activities in bhakti mood? So, basically, where we are with you, and we belong to, once again, Astika Darshana, Vedanta school, Achintya Bheda school, to the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. And we have really a lot of scriptures about bhakti. Of course, Srimad Bhagavata Purana and Bhagavad Gita, the 6 Goswamis Vrindavana, they have written a lot of scriptures which describe bhakti path. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, teaching of Lord Kapila, Narada Bhakti Sutra, etc., etc. So, also in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about the stages of devotion. Let us see. Along with that ladder, what we spoke with you just before, this ladder was given. Once again, we can see here that he says, please fix your mind on me and surrender your intellect to me. Basically, it is manmana, constantly manmana, and we can see it is the highest advice from Krishna. But he says, if you cannot do it, then please do Abhyasa Yoga. Follow the regulative principles of yoga, Yama Niyama, 4 principles, and thus you will develop desire to attain me. If you cannot do it, it means you cannot perform those principles of yoga. Mat karma parama bhava. Then just try to work for me. So, even you cannot work for me, then try to give up results. The basic difference from stage number 4 and 3, work for Krishna means try to perform the activities which are pleasant to Krishna. Very high stage. We are still selfish. We want something what please us. And here he says, okay, do what please you, but dedicate you the results. These are the other ladder, which is also useful to know for bhakti. So first, we try to dedicate results. Second, we try to dedicate activities in a favorable way to Krishna. Third, we finally develop pure lifestyle. We follow principles of yoga. We perform spiritual activities. We chant. And finally, when we chant constantly, 24/7, we will be able to follow his very instruction, man mana. So, to put our mind and intellect to give it to Krishna. Once again, here are the stages. So, let us briefly speak what bhakti is. First of all, let us see the Rupa Goswami's description of bhakti yoga. Anya abhilashita shunyam. So, being freed from all the other desires. Jnana karma adi anavritam. Also being free from jnana and karma path. Anukulyena Krishna anushilanam. So, making the favorable activities which Krishna loves and likes. This is Bhakti Uttama, the best of Bhakti. And another shloka describes Bhakti Uchyate. What is Bhakti? Sarva upadhi vinirmukta. It should be done, tatparatvena nirmalam. Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Bhakti is defined as service to Lord using the senses. Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam. It should be done with the intention of pleasing the Lord, free from other desires, sarva upadhi vinirmukta, and unobstructed by other processes. So here we see the description of real bhakti. Bhakti is a pure love. When you love someone, you try to do for him whatever he likes, in whatever way he likes, and you do not think of yourself. So basically, what we can do in Nectar of Devotion, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of the Rupa Goswami, the 5 most potent angas of bhakti is described. Those are residing in Mathura or any spiritual place, worshipping deity, reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, serving devotees, and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, basically, please start with these 5 activities. And it is also said that Mathura is a state of pure consciousness. It is not the particular local material spot. Mathura or Vrindavan should be created by each and every one of us by performing the other 4 activities. By performing them, we will reside with you in Mathura and Vrindavan. Also, you can pause the video and see the other 10 main angas and also the full complete of the 64 angas of Bhakti, which is given by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Here, what I would like to mention once again. Chanting the holy names, serving devotees, reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, worshipping deities, and residing in Mathura. Please choose something or everything and perform it. There is no other way, no other way, no other way for Kali Yuga. We will stop here with you now. I will make a brief summary of what we have learned. We started with you from the darshanas in order to find out where do we belong to and how the knowledge pass from Brahma. So we belong to Astika Darshana, to Vedanta school, to Achintya Bheda school, which takes beginning from Dvaita school, sub-school, and also we follow Vedas and Vedic scriptures and literatures, also Puranas, the Sampradayas, the four Vaishnava Sampradayas, Shri Devi, Brahma, Rudra, and four Kumaras, and we belong to Brahma Sampradaya. Brahma Sampradaya is given here, and Prabhupada is the founder of Charya, of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. We discussed with you what is Dharma. Dharma is the main topic in the Indian philosophy. Actually, there is no such thing as an Indian philosophy, but it is a philosophy of Sanatana Dharma. And we saw that Dharma could be described in terms of the cosmic order and social order. And Sanatana Dharma is a transcendental duties. Also, we represented with you Bhagavad Gita as it is, with the commentaries of Srila Prabhupada. There are different paths of self-realization described in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna simply calls us everyone to him, and he gives any path which we can follow. But as the supreme path, he mentions Bhakti Yoga, because Bhakti Yoga is the only path to achieve Krishna in Gokula Vrindavana. We described with you what is Jnana path, Jnana Yoga, how it is described, the ladder of Bhakti in the 18th chapter, and one more ladder of Bhakti in the 12th chapter. So you can once again see that ladder from Karma Kanda to Nishkama Karma Yoga, receiving knowledge, making spiritual exercises, become established in Krishna consciousness, dedicate him mind, buddhi, activities, everything, and thus he will pull us to him. And we also describe Bhakti path. The Bhakti path consists of 5 main angas or parts, the 5 most potent angas, which were described by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Please try to create around you Mathura and Vrindavana. Worship the deity. Read Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Serve devotees. And chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And thus you will be able to re-establish loving relationship with Krishna. So please chant Hare Krishna, read scriptures, and be happy. Thank you. Hare Krishna.